Okay. And now for something totally different. Okay, what you're looking at here is a mystery valve power piece, power amp that was up in the attic. I put it up there, God knows when, 80s, something like that. And it's been up in the attic because I knew one day I was going to pull it down, and well, the original plan was to rip these transformers off and use them to scratch build an amp. I've ordered the valves for it because you can see there's no valves in the sockets there. And if you can see that, there's no valves. And on this side there's two more input. Just about see it. There's no valves, but I know what they are because underneath, I'm going to turn it over in a minute, it weighs a ton. It's written, there's a sticker with the label of the valves on. Anyway, I didn't have a circuit, so I drew one out, I traced it. And I worked out the resistors from the color codes on them. Here's the valves, you can see, can you see that? ECC83 or 12AX7. And this one is the power valve, power tube, EL506 or 7868, which is the US designation. I've got the values of the capacitors that need to be changed because this looks like it's from the 60s. So it looks like it was something made in the 60s, maybe 70s, I reckon. So I'm going to change all the capacitors. Got them on order, and this just came in the post. Some power capacitors, some big rectifier smoothing capacitors. So I'm going to get those in. I'm going to flip it over so you can see what the bottom's like. And we're going to see if we can restore this and hopefully get it going at some point. Obviously not today because I don't have the valves. The valves are on order, they're coming. And as soon as they come, we're going to whop them in and see what and what and what. I reckon it's about 20 watts per channel because it's stereo. Look, it's got two output transformers. Yes, so it's a stereo block. Where's my other one that I made as a mono block? So anyway, let me put the camera down and flip it over because it weighs a ton. I can't do it with one arm. This is what's underneath. Here you got the big smoothing capacitors. This one's popped off. I know where it goes. It goes there. It goes in that spot there. But these are what I'm going to replace. It's got diodes, silicon diodes. There's no rectifier tube, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. I prefer tubes, to be honest. But it's got rectifier diodes, so that's all right. Point-to-point wiring. It's pretty neat. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to pull it to pieces, because it's very neat. I like the way it's laid out here. Look at that. Everything's got, you know, the angles, the direct point-to-point. It's all good, man. So anyway, look, it says down here, there's a sticker. Don't know if you can see that. It says ECC83. And that one over here in the top corner, I know you can't see, that's a bit dark. That says EL506. But yeah, I reckon this was a jukebox or something like that. That's what I reckon. I've been trying to find it online, I can't find it. It's got no serial numbers or designation numbers or whatever it is, so I can't find out what it is. But yeah, it looks nice. I mean, I cleaned it up. If you saw what it looked like when I got it out of the attic, it was full of crust. And I've cleaned it up nicely, so it looks pretty presentable. But these are the capacitors that I'm going to replace. I've just got these. Look, they're about, you know, almost the same size, a little bit smaller, slightly smaller. So I'm going to replace these And then the repair is on. It's on, man. So hopefully, once I get these in, and I get the other capacitors that are on order, all these are going to come out. These capacitors, these are coupling capacitors. They're 50, 60 years old, and I don't want to chance it. I haven't switched it on yet. But once I get all the capacitors changed, then I'll switch it on, because I don't have a variac, and I don't want to chance it with these capacitors. It's the capacitors that generally go. The resistors might drift, but it's the capacitors. So I reckon, I mean, I'm going to get a variac at some point, but I'm just going to change all the capacitors and then see how we go. I'm going to switch it on if I haven't got a variac by then. So anyway, we're in back to our amplifier building phase. Look, I've got a new meter, new AVO meter. My old one over there that I've had since the 80s is my old one. It still works, but I think I blew it up. The resistance part of it doesn't work, so I can still use it. I mean, the voltage part still works. But I thought, you know what, this is the 21st century, you know, let me go and get a new meter. So we're ready, man. We're ready. We're going into an amp building phase. I gotta build back my sound. So if I can get this going, I'm gonna use this. This is gonna be my tops amp, my mids and top. Well, we'll see what the response is like. I might use it on bass. But you know, valves with bass, you gotta have big iron for the bass to really kick. So we'll see what happens anyway. So that's it. I just wanted to show that part. I want to document the restoration of this little amp bit by bit. So this is part one, I guess. Zoom. Excellent. Let's get them caps in. Let's get them caps in, mate. There you go. Okay. What you're looking at now is a top-down view of the recapped mystery valve amp. Yeah, this is the underside. Recapped. All these nice yellow caps that you can see here. These ones here. These electrolytics here. They've all been recapped. Okay. Here you can see, here. All these big can electrolytics have been recapped. Yeah. See how nice and neat all this wiring is. It's just all nice and horizontal and vertical. Proper things, man. Proper things. I tested the resistors and they seem fine. The values of the resistors are fine. So I haven't changed any resistors. The only ones I haven't changed are these capacitors here. These, I don't think these will go. I'll show you where they are on the circuit that I drew. Change those. All the couplers. Come on, focus. Those have been changed. The only ones that haven't been changed is this one here. This 500 picofarad. And there's two because this is stereo amp. But everything else, we've changed it out. So yeah. It is what it is, man. It's ready to go. 12AX7. Yeah. That's a double triode, as you can see. That's the input valve and the phase splitter. EL506s are rare and you can't get them. I've tried and they are, well, there are about, but they're really expensive. So I went and got some 7876s, which are supposed to be equivalent pentodes, output pentodes. So yeah, and I've got the valve, so everything should be good to go. Let's turn it over so you can see. And here it is. We've got mains power transformer supply. We've got a nice hefty choke over here, smoothing choke. 2 output transformers because it's stereo. And this is where the valves go. Yeah, the EL 506s or 7868s. As you can see, the valves are not in at the moment. Over here we've got the 12 AX7s, which are in now. They're in. And you may have noticed I've got some phonos there. I replaced the BNCs that were there, and we put phonos there instead, because who uses blimmin' BNCs in this day and age? So that's done. These can caps are, I've left them there, but they're not connected. I disconnected them, and put modern caps underneath. So they're just there for look, to keep it looking alright, to keep it looking normal. Let's get the 7868 valves and put them in. Got power output tubes. Just arrived, so let's open it up, see what we got. Here you go. Beautiful. 7868. Can you see that? You see that? Yeah. Only problem is, I think I should have turned this around to start with, actually. I should have turned this around. But I'll tell you, these do not fit in the amplifier. Yeah. Let's turn it around. It is a bit heavy. Let's do it. These valves, 7868s, which are supposed to be compatible, cannot fit. You know, even they're too chunky to fit in this little small hole here. And what I've discovered, if I move that out of the way, is that these 7868s were made with different bases, 2 different bases, the same valve, 2 different bases. That is just crazy. One of them was made with it's a 9-pin Noval base. These ones are 9-pin Noval bases. But this one is Magnoval. I don't know if you can see that. It's slightly bigger than the original one. So I've had to order some new bases, some Magnoval bases. Yeah, so I've got these Magnoval ones. Come on, camera, work with me. And I'm gonna have to now replace these bases so that this valve can fit in. Look, it fits in this one. Fits in. Well, yeah, it's a bit stiff, but it does fit in there. It goes in there. Don't ask me why they're so stiff. They're new, obviously. So, but it goes in there. So once don't want to force it and break it, but it goes in there. So what I'm gonna have to do now, I thought my little project was over, was complete, but I'm going to now have to do major surgery and strip all these out, strip all the wiring off, bore out the holes slightly bigger, because these bases are slightly bigger than those ones, wider. Somehow bore it out and put these on. So that's probably going to take another God knows how long. So yeah, very disappointed. I mean, what I could do is search for the actual EL 506s. I know I've seen 2 online, but they cost a bomb, man, and it's not really going to be worth it. So I don't think so. But if I got those, I could just plug those in and it'd be good to go. But I think, you know, the universe has decided that you're gonna have to do this thing the hard way. Because if I bore it out and put these on, I mean, you can get these easily online. If I get the rare ones, the rare EL506s, and something happens to them, or I need to replace them, it's going to be the same problem all over again. So I might as well do it now, innit? So anyway, the project is ongoing. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm successful. See if I still got skills in that department. Yeah? Okay, cool. It's just a major surgery that made you do in surgery. Forget about your struggles and your strife. It's just... Okay, the true madness of this project has now hit. Yeah. We are changing these sockets, these valve sockets. There's one there, this one here. And if you can see, it's a bit dark. Let's turn it so that I get some light on it. Those are the old sockets of the novel bases. I've got this one out, these two out, and as you can see, I've punched out the hole bigger on this top one so that I can fit these magnovals, bigger ones. They go in. Here's the old ones over here, look, that I've pulled out. Yeah, this is the old one. Yeah, for the EL506s, which you can't get for love nor money. Well, you can get them for love nor money. I just don't want to pay that amount of money. So I've got some replacements. They're kind of bigger, same pinouts, but the bases are bigger, as you can see. Look, see the size there, size difference. Yeah, that's the old one. And here's a new one, new shiny one. So we've bored out the hole with my trusty Q-Max cutter. Yeah, this thing here, which is a steel punch. It goes in there, that goes in like that, and that goes in the top and you turn it. Great steel punch, which is what I used to make my first valve amp when I was 18, and I still had it. See, never throw away your stuff, because you never know when you're going to use it. So anyway, it was kind of messed up underneath. Look at this. I've had to rip out the circuit board, which is over here. There you go. I had to rip it right out. I had to take this out from there, disconnect the wires. I had to cut a load of wires. This may never work again. But that is what projects are about, you know? You know, that's what projects are about. So that's going to stay over there for now. There you go. There's the underside as it is, all ripped out. So I can get to these holes. There's two more still left in. And I have to get these ones out. Yeah, man. You have to get involved. You got to get your hands dirty. So this new base is going to go. It's going to go in here. Let's show you what it's going to look like once I get it in. It's going to go in this little space here. See how that fits nicely? Beautiful. I've got to drill some holes, some new holes to secure it, but it fits in. Yeah, so we just got those 3 left to do. I'm about to punch this hole here bigger, and yeah, there's no turning back now. Either this is not gonna work or it's gonna work, and it's gonna work better. So yeah, that's what projects are all about. Restoration projects are not easy. You know, getting some of these bolts free down here that have been secure for 60 years. They don't want to come off. So you got to use some elbow grease, and you got to scratch your head and come up with ways of getting these things off, man. And I know the last one, the Sod's Law one, is not going to come off. I know it's going to be welded because there's the screws all rusted. Look, over here. These screws, these nuts and bolts, not screws, nuts and bolts, all rusty and 60 years old or whatever old this valve amp is. Look at this mess. This is what you have to go through. Look at that. All my old tools, I've had to dig in to find bits and pieces. Yeah. This is what I do for you all. Well, and for me as well, but this is what you got to do. This is what you got to go through to do these little projects. So yeah, man. You just got to do it. Just got to do your thing. Just keep on keeping on. And if it doesn't work, it don't work. But at least try. So yeah, just had a little break to make this video, which is really important. You know, you got to film the process, the full process of this thing. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Let's see if we can get the rest of these sockets off, and then on to the next stage. One Allen key, extra long, goes in the top of the cutter. There is another part of the cutter on the underside. And you just got to line them up, put the bolt through, and tighten it until it clamps onto the steel. Grab your Allen key with an extra long leverage and turn till it bites. Always checking that it's lined up, because you don't want wonky holes. And it's just a matter of turning. %100% concentration is needed at this stage, because you don't want to mess up. There you go. And once it's done, undo the ting. And inside, you should have one steel polo punched from the aluminium steel chassis. Simple things. And the hole is smooth, no burrs, ready to go. Cool. Just got to do 2 more now. Lord have mercy. Okay, here we go. We got our holes bored, and we got our tools. Drill. Had to get a new battery because the old one was whacked. And over here we got sockets and punch and drill bits. Hopefully we don't break the drill bits. Let's see. This is going to go in. I want to do it from underneath so that you don't see these goldy bits. I mean, it does kind of look cool with the goldy bits on top, but the holes are not big enough, and I can't be bothered to get another punch. Holes are not quite big enough for it to sink down, so I'm going to do it from underneath. Anyway, that's how they're going to go. One there, one hole there, and same all along, but it will fit from underneath. So let's get them in. Let's get them valve bases in. Over here we've got, ooh, this is a bit bright. Over here, can't see, let's bring it over here. The old screws, I soaked them in vinegar. There you go. The old screws soaked in vinegar to get the rust off. So yeah, they're ready now. They've been re-oiled and they're nice and clean. So we'll get some of those in, inshallah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Cool. Okay, let's have a look. Valve base is in. Finally, it was a bit tricky getting those screws tightened. Is it pretty? No. But it wasn't meant to be. This is a modification. And sometimes modifications ain't pretty. Could I make it pretty? Yeah, but I'd have to bore out those holes more. And I haven't got the steel punch. And I don't want to go and order another one and wait more time. This is taking long enough, so it'll have to do. On the B side wins again and again. Here we go, look. There's the bases in their glory. All ready for wiring up. Yeah. It's all good. Weren't fun getting these nuts on. That was tricky. But we did it. It's done. So now we just got to wire it up and see if we remember where everything goes. This is where the fun begins. Cool runnings. What else have I got to drill? I want to drill out some holes here because I want to put some output jacks. I don't want to use these. I want to use some output jacks. I might put some modern posts on here because I've got some pins. What do you call it? Banana pins, but they just don't fit. Don't ask me what kind of banana pins these are, so I might just change them. But I definitely want to put some jacks, some 1/4" jacks outputs on here, like I've got on my other valve piece, so I can just swap between them. And these can capacitors that are not being used, I'm thinking of actually replacing them with some cans, but I'll have to bore out the holes like this because they're bigger, the diameter's bigger. So I'm thinking of actually boring out the holes and putting some big, you know, capacitors here, and then I'll be able to take it off of this board. That's what these are. If you look on the board, these ones that I've put on top are actually replacements for those, but I don't really like the way that looks. I mean, I might just leave it like that, but I'm thinking of just getting some big electrolytics and just placing them there. At least it will look normal. That looks a bit weird, but I haven't fully decided yet. So okay, just pop the valves in to see what they would look like. And yeah, looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. However, some of these are a bit loose. Not this one particular is very loose, so I'm not really sure now. Look, and this one, look how loose that is. I'm gonna have to look at that. That's a bit much too loose. They shouldn't be that loose. Not sure what we can do about that. And these holders, crap. I don't know. Just have a look at them. It's not really happy with that. Look at that. These valve holders useless. I'm gonna have to take them out. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see. This project keeps springing up surprises at every stage. And that's definitely, that is, look at that. That can't work. I'll have to have a look into that one. Anyway, we're on to the next stage. Wiring up. Zoom. Okie dokie. We are at that stage. Testing stage. Because, as you can see, well, hopefully you can see, these sockets are now being wired. There's the top one. And the second one. Third and fourth one. The main board is back in. Obviously it's not as neat as it was, but it's in. So this amp is now ready to be switched on, I think. It's very tricky getting that wiring done, especially when you've got old eyes like I have. And you might be able to notice that I've got some new connectors on, and down here as well I put a couple of jacks that weren't there before, because I like jacks on my output. I know people don't use jacks for output, they don't tend to use jacks for output, but I like them. I've got them on my other amp, so I thought let me just stick some on here as well. So the 4 sockets have been replaced. It's not as neat as it was. And you can see that 10k resistor are replaced. See how small it is? That's supposed to be a 1/2 watt. I don't know if they sent me the right one, because that 220k, let me point in case you don't know. Let me get a pointer. Sorry, let's get a pointer. Let's get a pointer. Right, this one is 220k. This is the old original, and it's massive. Looks like about 1 watt or something, but in the olden days it's probably 1/2 watt. This one is a little one, tiny one up here. It's a 10k that I added, and I ordered 1/2 watts, but this looks like a 1/4 watt, the size of it. Look at it. I know with modern technology everything is smaller, so I don't know. It might just go up in smoke. But it is only a grid resistor, so I don't expect there to be a whole heap of current flowing through it anyway. It's a control grid resistor. So anyway, that's the sockets. This is the next one. Yeah. Is that 10k? I should have really sleeved these, but I didn't have any PVC sleeving, and it won't touch onto this. There's a big, I don't know, you can't see from the angle, but there's a big gap there, so that should be all right. And there's a third one down there, and the 4th one, it's a bottom. Yeah, there you go, just about see it. You see how tight it is? Getting these heater wires on was a tricky, man, because it's so tight getting these heater wires on. But I got them on, you know how we do. Yeah, got them on in the end. Can you see this? This going around there, that one, and this one at the top. Yeah, I just used the original wires that was on and just put them on, and obviously because these connectors are bigger, they took up more space, so it was kind of tricky getting them on, and getting these new banana jacks on was tricky as well. Everything was tricky, but yeah, it's all wired up. So let's see, and down here you can see the 1/4 inch. Oh, good. You can see the 1/4 inch jacks, 1 and 2. Yeah, connected up nicely. Yeah, I could have tidied this little PVC bit up a bit. That looks a bit messy, but you know it is, man. You know how we do, man. Some of these solder joints might need to be touched up again. They might need to, but I think we're ready. We got this cable here, which originally, this one here that I've booted up, originally went all the way around here and connected to these resistors. Some kind of feedback. I'm not sure what kind of feedback it was, because when I chase the circuit it doesn't go anywhere. So I've kind of like just left it off. The negative feedback from the output connectors with these wires here. So that is connected. There's one there and there's one there. That's a negative feedback. But this audio feedback thing, I reckon it was some kind of sound to light. That's what I reckon, because I think this came out of a jukebox. So I think what they've done is taken the output from here and fed it back, and it goes along this cable here, the other end, to this connector, oops, this connector looks like a valve connector, but it's not a valve connector. I reckon this is either a connector that goes to the preamp or to some kind of sound to light thing. That's what I reckon. There's it. You can see the other end of that cable, the audio cable, this blue. There you go, this blue one here. You can see there's a screen cable. There's a screen in, and there's the connector. And there's the other one over there, stereo pair of them. So it comes all the way around here, and I've kind of like tied it off here instead of connected it to the board over this side. So yeah, let's power up Excalibur and see what's happening. Look at these red, you see these wires here? This one going on. These were underneath the board before, and the cable was just too short, so I had to reconnect it on the top. And I cut all these connections across, and I've just kind of like joined them back together. I know it's not really the right way to do it, but I haven't got no tin copper wire. So when I get some, I'm going to remake that connection properly instead of just joining them back. That one I've joined, that one I've done properly with tin copper wire. I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but there's a tin copper wire there making that connection. That's how I got this board off. I just kind of like cut all the way down, cut them all the way down. But I've rejoined them back, so we'll see now. We'll see. I'm gonna take some readings and see what and plug it in, man. Hopefully I haven't forgotten to reconnect anything. Hopefully. We'll see. Do my little checks, yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. It's been a very good project. If you look on the outside, you can see the new jacks. See those jacks there? Where's the old ones? I know they look very similar to the old ones. I've got them in this bag. This bag of old parts. But yeah, these old banana plugs. I've got some banana plugs that just don't fit in here. I don't know what kind of banana plugs these were. These old ones, the square ones. But the banana plugs that I got won't go in, they're just too fat. So I replaced them with some new ones. So that's good. And down here is you can see the 2 1/4-inch jacks that I've added. I like jacks. You know, people, as I said, don't use them for output, but I do. I suppose because you could confuse it with the input, and if you did that, you'd probably damage something. So that's probably why people don't use them on output. So these 2 are connected to this, and these 2 are connected to this. Yeah, so my stereo block is ready to test. Yeah, baby, it's all good. Let's see what happens. We've reached that magical moment where the mystery valve amp is ready to be switched on. It took a while. It took a bit longer than I expected, to be honest, but enjoyable project so far. The valves are a bit stiffer in these holders now that it's all wired up. Thankfully, I was a bit concerned about that, but this is the moment that we've all been waiting for, to see if it goes up in smoke when we switch it on, or whether it'll work. You know, I've got fingers crossed. I've checked all the connections and all the wiring and double checked it, and I'm pretty sure that it will work. There's a story that I heard somewhere about one of the legendary amp builders from back in the day, and I can't remember whether it is Legs or Eddie the African, or whether it is Errol. You know, these are the great valve makers from sound system days. back in the day. And I heard a story of one of them, I can't remember which one, made a 1,000-watt amplifier. Valve amplifier, yeah? Because you can imagine what that looked like. And when it was time to turn it on, this valve was so scary that they used a broom handle and stood all the way back with this broom handle, switched it on, you know, and all the lights were dimming because it sucked so much power. So I'm sure this ain't gonna suck so much power, and I'm not that scared of it. Although valves, there's a lot of high tension, you know, high voltage, 300, 400, 500 volts inside these. So you have to really be careful when you're working on them. Don't play about when you're working on them. Know what you're doing when you're working on stuff like these. And I think that's all part of the mystery of why they're so exciting, because they're dangerous as well, you know. They come in like, oh man, you know, there's women who are dangerous. Them femme fatales. Femme fatal, you know. They say femme fatale, me say femme fatale, yeah. They attract you with such power because they're dangerous. This thing here. Anyway, it's time to plug it in. This doesn't have an on-off switch, which kind of puts me at the disadvantage that I have to plug it in to switch it on. So that's something I'm going to have to add, a on-off switch. There's no real space to put it. I might have to put it on the side. I should have done that already, really, innit? Anyway, here's the cable, which is a bit dodgy because it's been joined together with this bit of tape, which is not good. So I'm gonna have to sort this out. What I actually want to do, which I could have done already, I put an IEC on, an IEC connector. That's this, I'm gonna show you. One of these on, yeah. Can you see that? So that we can just plug a normal cable in. Sometimes they have them on the chassis, but there's nowhere on the chassis to have this. So what I'm actually gonna do is cut this cable and add it on here. So I have this dangling from a little cable on there. But I'm not gonna do that now. It's time to plug it in. We've waited for the moment of truth, and I know you lot are waiting too. So let's juice her up and see what happens. All right, here we go. Drum roll. What I've got to do is plug in this into this because we have no on-off switch. So, and with my head right here, if it does blow, I'm getting it first. All right. Don't do this at home, children. Yeah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm gonna plug this in and dive down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, it hasn't blown. There's no smoke. Can't smell anything. Can't hear anything. See if I can see. Whoa, 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 look. I can see heaters. And if you can see it from there, I can see orange glows coming from these valves. Okay. Yep. What about over this side? Can I see anything? It's kind of difficult in the day. Maybe I should have done it in the night. Yep. We got glowing heaters over here on the 12AX7s. So looks like, well, at least there's current flowing through it. So yeah, nothing's hot. Can't smell any burning. I guess the next thing to do is to get some music flowing through her. Let's hook her up to some speakers. Zoom. Proper things. Yeah. Okay, you ready? Let's plug some cables in. Got my phonos around here. These go in around here on this side. Phonos. Speakers. I've got some speakers down here somewhere. Okay. There's one. One good thing about this room, it's full of speakers. We've got these little bookshelf speakers up the top here. And we've got some others all dotted all over the place. You know. As an ex-sound man, I like to have my speakers all over the place. And I'm twisting on these jacks. It's just a little temporary thing. Can wire it properly later. So let's get this one in there. Don't hear anything. Usually you hum with valve amps, don't you? You can't hear nothing. So is that good or bad? Dunno. Let's plug the other one in. Because really you should never plug valve amps in without having something on the output. They don't like it. I mean, you shouldn't switch them on if you haven't got speakers connected. Okay. I'll use this one. So this one is going to go into this side. Can't hear anything. This is starting to heat up now. It's getting warm. I can feel it. It's getting warm. Can't smell anything burning. But it is getting warm, man. That's one of the good things about valve amps. You double as a heater in the winter. Yeah, man. Good. All right, let's bust some tune and see what happens. Let me go over this side and just see if we hear anything. I hear something. I hear something. Yeah, I hear something. I hear something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Valves, man. Valves, man. Sound good, man. Sound good. It's not perfect. It's gonna need tuning. But it's working. It's working. It's working. Success. Ear tune to ring string. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm a bit happy with that. From not knowing whether it was going to work, you know, 'cause at one point it looked like this might not work again. I mean, I didn't even know if it worked in the first place because this is the first time I've actually plugged it in. Even back in the day when I got it, I didn't plug it in. So 40 years, not bad. It's going to need a bit of tuning because the thing with valves, you got to voice them. You got to tune them up, tune the bias on these output tubes so that they're singing properly, you know. Tune them up, get the voice. I like the voice to be out a certain way, you know. So I'm gonna be taking some voltages. I'm gonna be going through the circuit and taking some voltages and tuning up some of these components to get it sounding just how I want it to sound. Yeah, I'm not going to do that on camera because that's the dangerous bit. You know, I need total concentration to be going through this circuit and checking the voltages, making sure everything is a-okay. But yeah, I think we reached the final stage of this project. You know, well, that can be videoed anyway. You've heard it playing. What do you think? Was it worth it? Little project for 2024. Anyway, let me put this with my other amp. I've got a little space for it on the shelf. And I think the next thing to do is play them together once. That's what we should do. This is my tops amp, remember? I want this for my tops. Or I might use it on bass. We'll see what happens.